There is a podcast about an island in the North Atlantic where people have been looking for an incredible treasure for more than 200 years.
Hello and welcome back to Could It Be?
An Oak Island podcast.
We are your hosts, Deidre and Dustin White.
Hey.
Hey.
We're here.
We're here.
How's it going?
You know, it's fantastic.
So, it is the day before the next episode of the Curse of Oak Island.
Yes.
We are in the West Coast. We are on the West Coast
Yes.
of the United States. It's pretty late while we're recording this. This is the only time we could find together
this week
to try to record this thing. So, we are so sorry for not getting any episodes out lately, but Deidre's been working her butt off.
But we're getting back on track.
Making money for the family. Yep. And when she's not working, I'm doing some stuff to make some money. And that's what we've been up to. So we're sorry that we haven't been here, but we are here today to talk about, oh gosh, I don't even know what episode this is.
This is season 9, episode 13.
Oh, go big
or go home.
All right. Well, yeah.
We're not going home. We are home.
We're going to go big.
We're going to opt for with the team.
Yeah.
To go big. So
yeah.
Don't have to go home.
Okay, well, the elephant in the room, real quick. We haven't been here for we missed 3 episodes.
Yes.
So what's going to happen to those 3 episodes?
Those 3 episodes? Okay, here's what we decided is that we want to get back on track. Mm-hmm. And what was most important is to jump into the most recent episode so that people could be up to date.
Sure.
And, going through the recap and all that. Hopefully we're going to get back to those other ones.
During the off season, maybe?
Maybe during the off season, especially because I know I'm going to want to talk about Scott Clark.
Yeah.
And his theory.
You know, it'd be cool if we get Scott Clark on a recap episode with us to talk about his own episode.
And he may come up again this year,
maybe.
Right? Because, we did have him in a flashback in this most recent episode. So.
That's right. So, anywho, those other ones, to be determined. We'll see where we are, but we're gonna move on like nothing happened.
Yep.
Where it's a fresh start. Like we're just gonna forget about all that for right now and just enjoy the episode we had.
Yep. And it was a good one.
It was fun. Lots of good stuff happening.
Stuff is coming
on that little
wonderful
mysterious island in the North Atlantic.
Elephant-shaped island.
Yeah.
Okay. Should we open up with how they open up?
Sure.
How do you want to do this?
Well, they opened up right in a war room meeting, and I think that's where we need to jump in.
Seemed like an important war room meeting.
Yeah. So it was an important war room meeting because it had all the major players.
Yes.
Okay. We had Rick, Marty, Jack, Alex, Scott, Billy, Gary, Steve, Peter, David, and Craig. Craig was there via teleconference.
Yes.
And so it's like, yeah, you got like the Fellowship of the Dig.
Everybody's like really, you could just look at that war room and know everybody's really excited. Like the look on their faces is like, oh, the cans are coming.
Yeah. Yeah, they're excited. Are you?
I'm so excited.
Your spirit animal is headed back to the island.
Yes, Vanessa.
Yeah, well, we'll get to more Vanessa here real soon. But Marty opens up by saying that this is an important meeting. And it's because they're finally about to embark on the real treasure hunt.
As opposed to the fake one?
I'm like, what have you guys been doing for like 15 years on the island?
No, he means, because like the first half of the year, it's the research section, right? Mm-hmm. We've heard that from Laird. We've heard from Steve. Like they said in the first half is like research to figure out where to dig, gather, and then
collecting data, not really research. Like both. Doug is doing research. He doesn't stop. It's 24 months out of the year. He does double time. Okay. He puts in double, just like I'm sure Paul Troutman does. And, Charles and all of the researcher guys, they never stop.
You know what? I bet you this is like Steve's favorite part because he doesn't have to walk so many places. Like he just gets to stay in the money pit because that's where all hands are on deck versus like everybody calling and be like, hey, come over here. Hey, come over here.
Steve, need you, Steve.
That, or it could be his least favorite because he likes to pull rocks off the wash table.
He's going to have plenty of opportunity to do that in the next few weeks. Don't you worry.
And Laird will crush his dreams.
Yeah.
Thanks, Laird.
Well, Laird hasn't been around, so
it's Laird's really week sad about that.
Yeah, it's Laird's time off. He's taking a break
in his trailer.
Yeah, he's probably just hiding out in the archaeology trailer. Here, wait, we don't have a section, so here we're gonna at least do this once. Here it is. This is Laird hanging out where Laird hangs out. Laird man.
So, to the archaeology trailer. Yeah, if you want to find Laird and some hot cocoa.
That's where he's hanging out. All right, so Marty, he has a piece of jewelry on. Okay. What did you think of his jewelry?
So I saw it. I was like, okay, it's. Can you imagine? He's walking around Canada with a toonie, of all things, on
and
his
he thinks
neck.
He's super cool.
And he thinks he's super cool. It'd be like me walking around with I don't know, a nickel on my neck or something. People like
maybe,
but bigger. Like, what's a big
silver dollar?
Yeah,
except for those aren't as common. I think toonies are way more common.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm thinking like a common,
like a quarter.
Yeah, like, hey, look, I got a quarter.
And we don't use half dollars either. So
yeah, but quarters, like, that's a very common thing, sure. And it's just like not a rare one.
Yeah.
But he's wearing it for luck.
Yeah.
Mad props to you.
Yep. So Jack says he's never been more excited in his life.
That's saying something.
Whoa, Jack.
Because Jack gets so excited.
That's saying something.
If Jack has never been so excited, like, I expect him to shoot through the roof or something.
Yeah, well, he's captain of the watch table and he's excited it's coming back.
He's excited.
All right. Marty is busy talking logistics.
Naturally.
Of how things are going down. He's like, hey, you, Gary, you're going to be metal detecting everything. He's like, mate, I know.
He's like, I know. I've been metal detecting in the swamp and only finding wood.
Yeah. Poor guy.
I know.
Yeah, they find some metal detecting.
They do.
They do some metal detecting in this episode. All right. So Rick says that Irving is coming in. Irving Equipment Limited, that is. And they need to select where the caissons are going. Rick and Craig agree that D2 is on top of the list. Yes.
So then we get the flashback to the D2 information.
It's definitely something it's in that area known as the C1 cluster.
Yeah. But now it's D2. And C1 clearly is not far away. And when you put a can down, you're going to be engulfing all of that.
What do you think?
They found the metal fragment down there, and then all the wood.
So when you hear D2, is that borehole the first thing you think of?
No, I think R2.
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
Oh.
I was thinking of D2 is like D2 the Mighty Ducks. The second Mighty Duck movie is called D2.
No, I was just thinking R2.
You and I are D2. 2 Ds right here.
Yes. Why are you hitting me?
I'm patting your shoulder really firmly.
Yes.
In a loving way.
Sure. Rick says that there may be a tunnel or a shaft at D2, because like what I was just saying, with all the wood that they found in the area. And Clotworthy goes on and explains the equipment coming to the island from ROC and Irvine. Yes.
Yeah. It's exciting.
Yeah.
They're going to be
what
doing
we've been all waiting for.
This is the biggest dig we're getting. So, I mean, I'm excited
it's
for it.
It's pretty big. It's like huge, actually.
It's big.
And
it's not the big dig, though.
No, it is a large dig, though.
Jumbo dig.
So Craig wants to make sure, because we're talking about how there's going to be so many spoils, so much more coming out per hammer grab. And Craig's like, okay, we could get overwhelmed with all of this earth coming out. So he wants to make sure they're focusing on the right areas, which makes sense. Which is between 70 and 100 feet, and isolate that. Like, that's our priority for the wash table and searching.
Because that's where they found that metal.
Yeah, that's where they found the metal. That's where they hit. I mean, that's the zone of interest, right?
Yeah, but forever they have been talking about going up to 200 feet deep too. So.
Yeah, I mean, there's that, but the zone of interest. Remember, every time they put something down in the C1 cluster, they're like 90 feet, bing, bing, 90 feet, ding.
Yep.
It's almost like we can't miss.
Yeah. Well, Jack, is worried that since he'll be doing twice as much washing this year, he's wondering if he's going to be able to get through it all. And it's like, Jack, you've never been more excited. That means you have the extra energy and the extra strength to get through it, bro.
He's so excited, and then all of a sudden reality hits him. He's like,
oh, crud.
Do we really think it's all going to be able to go through the wash plant? And is it Marty that tells him, like, it's okay, we'll be able to adjust accordingly?
It was Rick. Rick said, yes, we will. If we get behind, we will adapt.
Yeah, we will adapt. We're not going to make only you do it. You see, imagine Jack out there at like midnight with a spotlight.
And he's like covered in muck. Yeah, I can imagine it. He would do it too.
Oh, I know.
He's that kind of guy. They probably had to drag him away.
Probably.
All right. So Rick says that the main concern is safety, and Billy is in charge of making sure that the money pit pad is stable and level and safe. And to do so, they're bringing in 1,150 tons, not pounds, tons of gravel. So that's times 1,000. That's over 1 million pounds of gravel we're bringing in.
Oh, it's a lot. And
actually, it's over 2 million pounds.
We get that overhead view of the money pit, and you can see it's like gravel, asphalted, out.
Well, they got to make it so it's a good platform.
Well, we don't want to end up with another instance where we're caving in underneath because, a lot of holes in there.
Yeah. So Gary, all he wanted to get out of this meeting, this war room meeting, was, I just want to know where we're going to put all the treasure. Where are we going to store all that treasure? And everybody laughs and they're like, oh, Gary.
Oh, silly Gary. We'll adapt if necessary.
Exactly.
We're going to have to pay all these people with toonies anyways.
Well, I hope they don't. It would be really awkward if they dug the hole and if it's found a hoard of toonies. Wouldn't that be awkward? Like, where did these come from?
So Marty's like, my toonie's not so special anymore. There was a cavern of toonies.
Yeah, somebody snuck onto the island, just started dropping toonies like down into the one of the caissons. That'd be messed up, man. And like literally put down like 5,000 toonies or something.
So that kind of wraps up the war room meeting, but we do spend plenty of time, some more time in the money pit area. So we see Billy out there getting to work.
Gonna reinforce that pad.
Put all those tons of pad, and Scott couldn't miss Scott in his yellow jacket. I was like, what? But he looked excited to be there.
I'm sure he was.
Like, this is quite a little job for Billy. He's like, yep.
He's like, well, you better get on with it.
Yeah. Good job. I'm gonna make sure you do that.
That's funny.
And Billy's like, yeah, I'm gonna. So then he gets back to work.
So we head to a different part of the money pit.
Lot 18.
The Lot 18 section.
Which
is just
northeast of what we would traditionally think of as the money pit grid.
Because they're doing something special there. What are they doing?
They are drilling because they're chasing what they think is that flood tunnel, right? Because they hit that air pocket before and kind of by where the women's memorial is.
Yeah, and they thought they might have found eelgrass in the spoils. And that's one of the things that is said to maybe be
within the original flood tunnels,
the filtration system of it, that and the coconut fiber.
Absolutely. So, and they're like, okay,
gotta follow up.
And it's kind of, so it's at a higher elevation. And I love the shots where if you like pause it, it looks like the entire table is like at a 45-degree angle and everybody's crooked on the side. It made me laugh.
I've seen some fun pictures like that with the streets of San Francisco.
Yeah.
You take it as like what you would from a perspective where the street looks level.
Yeah.
But the buildings are like sideways, like they look like they're about to fall off the side. Yeah.
That's what it looked like, though. It made me laugh. But they're in that area doing drilling, right? So Terry, Alex, and Brennan are supervising at the tilted operating table.
Hey, I just want to say real quick, my mom's in the chat. Hi, Mom. Love you. That's it.
Oh, okay.
Hi, Mom.
Hi.
Love you.
Way to interrupt me.
Sorry.
Anyways, so they're searching for flood tunnels and they're drilling. They're getting the first sample that comes up at a depth of 48 feet. And Terry tells us that they're working on FTS-2, which stands for Flood Tunnel Search 2.
I forgot to put that in my notes. So
yeah, job. But I caught it because I know I'm going to have to hunt it down. So... to add to the maps, if you will. Yeah. So Flood Tunnel Search 2, which means I'm guessing the other one is FTS 1.
Yes.
If this is 2. And Alex asks how deep they're planning to take this particular one, and Terry tells them to 120 feet.
May as well.
Might as well.
They got the drill in the ground already.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, while you're turning your page, I just want to say, thanks to everybody that did show up to chat tonight.
Yeah, because it's late.
Yeah, it's late, and everybody is just chatting it up over there and having a good time. I see a lot of familiar names in the chat, like Dana and Trisha, and we got Melanie's in the chat. Jeff's here. Graham's here. There's a few others. So I just want to say thank you so much for being here with us tonight. You guys rock.
You do rock. Like ROC.
And I hope you have fun chatting with each other. We don't typically chat much to the chat while we're doing it, doing the podcast, but just want to say hi and thanks for being here.
Yeah, you guys are amazing. We heart you.
Because we haven't seen you in a while, so it just makes me feel good to see all those names pop up. All right, go for it.
Let's go down to further on lot 18 again.
Lot 18.
Because it goes away and comes back. Yeah. And so we still have Terry, Alex, Brennan working on FTS 2. Terry and Alex received the core from 88 feet. Get in that zone of interest. Right? There's no wood, but it's very soft, indicating that there's possibly water nearby. But I mean, that makes sense, right? If there is a tunnel or something, it would get soft as you get closer if it's been disturbed.
I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, it would make sense. Sure. Sorry, I wanted to just have some fun with you. I haven't seen you. I haven't barely seen you in like feels like days. So I just wanted to say, I just wanted to joke around with you a little bit.
Okay. Did you want to carry on or should I?
Oh, you're doing great.
Oh, great. So the next sausage hits the crooked operating table at a depth of 107 feet.
Yep.
It's got wood. Wood.
This is exciting.
Alex seems stoked.
Doesn't that seem a bit deep for the flood tunnel? Or maybe was the elevation ever raised in that area? Maybe.
So the elevation of the money pit. I mean, think about Billy Lane layers, and gosh, I can't remember what Steve said to us in the past. If it had an additional 10 feet or whatever added for the elevation from what they assumed was original before. And you got to remember they put in those roads, so that is also at an incline. Roads. And so that whole area was probably added and graded. So yeah, it's not too far off.
You just figure that the flood tunnel would be sloping downward, and so it would be above the point of interest at that point where they want to get into it, but it's at 107 feet, and that's kind of below the zone of interest. But it depends on a lot of factors.
Well,
but it's just I'm just thinking to myself, I don't know.
Well, of course, none of us know. That's why we're digging these holes.
Well, that's why they're going to put the claw in later on and
claw
and pick up the chapel vault from 150 feet as one piece.
As one piece, because nobody's ever pierced it or anything before. Oh man, that was a great animation.
Yeah. Oh, I wanted to say thanks to Susan in chat too. She's putting all of our links in the chat. So thank you, Susan. And while we're here, we just haven't been doing this a lot lately, and I just want to say hi to Jenny on YouTube real quick. She's here, and Amisha's here, and I don't see everybody else. Oh, Barb's here. So hi, you guys. Just
Dana's here.
Hi. We already said hi to Dana.
Oh, my bad.
She only gets it once.
Sorry, Dana.
Just kidding. Dana,
now you
you're
get
awesome.
it twice.
Yeah. All right.
Anywho, so the wood that they've got, they're excited about. Terry's very excited along with Alex, and Terry's ready to smell it. He's like, do you smell the pine?
He's like, do you smell what the island is cooking?
Yeah. And it was possibly ads cut wood.
Yeah.
Nothing is cut by an axe anymore. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
It's cut by an adze.
Oh, because they found an adze.
But we have found several axes.
It doesn't matter. The most recent finds an adze. Everything's adze cut.
So when we find a axe now,
doesn't matter.
Then will it switch to an axe because it's the most recent find? Possibly,
but it's a little more exotic to have an adze. So I think they're all about the
exotic.
Yeah, isn't it more exotic? It's not a typical tool. Maybe it was at the time, but it's not. You don't hear a lot of people talking about ads anymore.
You're right, but Clotworthy does, because there's a flashback to them finding the ads this season.
Yes, they love their ads.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you want me to talk some, or you
sure?
Good? All right. So Alex says that they need to get the carbon date from this wood.
Mm-hmm.
He believes that there was an opening between the two pieces of wood where potentially water could flow through.
Mm-hmm.
He calls his Uncle Rick to come take a look, and Rick is right on over.
Of course he is.
Actually, right before that, I guess he called a few people because suddenly there's like a swarm.
The cavalry.
There's a swarm of activity at the operating table. We got Scott's there. We got Mr. GPS, Steve.
Mr. GPS.
Yeah,
well, Scott's there because he's the boss. So.
Yeah, but then
we got Doug.
I think Doug arrives with Rick, but Dan Henske's there too.
Henske. So good to see Dan.
We saw him multiple times in this episode.
I know.
So, Terry, when he shows Rick the wood, he says that a miracle happens on Oak Island every now and then, and there it is.
Ta-da!
I'm like, that's a miracle, huh? Oh, they must be pretty stoked about it.
It was the way it was stacked and the way
Mm-hmm.
it came out. It looked like possibly intercepting of a flood tunnel that could have still been intact,
Mm-hmm.
and that's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, no, they're stoked, and they should be. I'm stoked.
That's
pretty sweet. All right, so Terry says that he would bet that there is a lot of water movement around this space between those two blocks of wood. Rick says it didn't get any better than that, or it doesn't get any better than that. So Rick's all in. He's loving what he's seeing. I hope the carbon date comes back to like 14, 15, early 1600s and not like 1795 plus.
Well, I'm just
That'd be real
more
unfortunate.
Hoping it comes back to the dates they've been getting with everything else so that it keeps aligning that, yeah, it can be the flood tunnel.
You mean like whatever. 200, 300, 600 AD? That's what they've been getting.
Not from in the money pit.
I know.
I want it to make sense.
Good.
I want the data to collaborate and not add another date.
I don't like it when things make sense.
Oh, I am well aware of this.
Okay. All right. So, anywho, Rick says that he asks for Dan Henske's thoughts on the matter. And Dan says this could be very close to the original flooding tunnel. And Doug says that if the carbon date comes up with a tight window of the 1600s or so, then this could be part of the original works.
Thank you, Doug.
So he's on your side.
Sound, logic, and reasoning.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Rick says that's what that says to him. So there you go. Steve has the final word, and he says, "What? You all right?"
You were just yelling right there, Steve. He probably can hear you in Canada. You probably just woke him up.
Yeah, and he's like, "I'll get my GPS."
He has no idea what it was. I'll get my GPS.
He's like bushy-eyed, or not bushy-eyed. He's like
bushy-eyed.
I don't know. He's just like sleep in his eyes. There you go. All right. Steve says that they may be able to chase this to the money pit.
Yeah,
so there you go.
He does seem very excited about chasing it to the money pit. That is definitely a true statement.
It's what they're looking for. All right. So is that all for
we have where
happenings?
As far as money pit happenings, we also have Irving showing up, right?
Yeah, that's the end.
That's actually towards the beginning. And anyways, Crane arrives and it's supervised by Scott and Billy. They're, of course, happy to supervise said Crane because we're all very excited. Well, Billy probably just got it laid barely in time.
It's literally Billy's turf. He put it down.
It's Billy's field.
Yeah. So Clotworthy says that this is only the first of 20 equipment deliveries. Whoa. And Marty emphasizes that this is a big dig. There will be 50% more work to do in every area, and be it metal detecting, washing materials, etc., etc.
Well, think about all the material like they were searching through like last year from spoils from like 2 years prior that they didn't really get a chance to go through. And that was with smaller cans. And Steve's like, look, leather. And Michael John's like, look, cannonball thing.
Yeah, well, they're still going through things from the 1960s, okay? So that's well before you and I were born. All right. So, all right. So we doing the swamp or are we doing metal detecting?
Or lot 32. Let's do lot 32, okay. The metal detecting.
Metal detecting hour with Rick and Gary.
Yes.
It's Lucky Digger.
The Lucky Digger. And apparently the shovel is hungry.
Yeah, how did that go?
Let's see here. So Rick and Gary are, getting ready to metal detect, and Rick gets out the shovel and says, "It's hungry for top pocket finds." Gary says, "Let's feed the beast." I laughed pretty hard.
That was pretty good.
Yeah.
Classic Rick.
I mean,
classic Gary.
They clearly have a good time while they're there, or you'd go crazy.
I bet you that Rick loved being with Gary digging in Florida when they did some Beyond Oak Island stuff,
Oh, I bet.
Then he was on Gary's turf. So good stuff. So they do some metal detecting. I guess Gary had already pre-metal detected and stuck flags.
As always.
But he runs the metal detector over it again, and he gets a signal. Rick gets out that lucky shovel and starts digging. Gary pinpoints after he gets out a plug, and he discovers there's an ox shoe in there. We've never seen one of those before, have we?
No, they're like, "Oh, look, it's what did Rick say? It's your old friend." He's like, "Yeah, I know all about these."
Yeah, well, it was cool to find.
But that's good information, right? Because they have found so much on lot 32, indications of a possible wharf, and that is, it's like that triangular shaped lot, right? Yes. Down next to the swamp and all that. Oh, it's been a very interesting little area there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It has.
It has. Second signal.
Beep, 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 beep. So Rick digs. Gary sounds really excited as he uncovers a piece of copper. And they think there might be an inscription on it. I'm surprised we didn't head straight to the archaeology trailer.
For serious. Laird's like, I am too busy to deal with you.
It's like, put it in your top pocket, hold it.
Hold it, please. I still have another 300 artifacts to catalog before I can even look at that.
He's still probably cataloging stuff from last year.
I know. And he's saying that they're both thinking they see something on it.
Yeah.
I didn't see anything.
You didn't?
No.
Did you look at it like if you take a picture of the screen and manipulate the image to show it in negative, it says, be sure to drink your Ovaltine.
You dummy.
Okay, never mind. It doesn't say anything. I didn't see anything either.
Oh my gosh. You are something else. Maybe this is the problem with like late night podcasts. We get a little cry.
Hey, Linda. Hi, Linda. And Agnes is here. We just want to say hi to you guys. Thanks for being here tonight. The OG's in the house. What's up? What's up? And Linda from our neck of the woods. Well, Washington. All right. Go for it.
So they think there's an inscription on it. And Gary says it's likely connected to the other finds in the area. Good deductive reasoning, Gary.
Well done.
I remember Clotworthy speculating, like, could it be part of a uniform or like, remember like that patent plate or whatever, something like that, or part of a bucket. I don't know. We could go on forever. I don't think it's part of a lipstick case.
Well, remember they found that name tag thing too? Like it had didn't it say ball on it?
Yeah.
Could be something like that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so they do some more metal detecting, and Gary identified a third target for Rick, and Rick digs it up, and they pull out something that gets Gary he's losing it.
Yeah, because he's like, it's circular. Is it a coin or is it a button? And usually gets disappointed because he finds a button and then he recovers. And it's like, yeah, but it's a really cool button.
No, but he got excited.
But he got really excited this time because it was indeed a coin.
Yeah. And Gary could tell just by looking at it that the coin is British. He's like, this is from the motherland.
From the motherland? Oh my gosh.
Wouldn't that be his motherland?
I guess. He has metal detected plenty of those, so he's seen a lot of them. He feels pretty confident about what it was.
He didn't know exactly what it was.
No, because they couldn't tell the bust on it, but he noticed the shield, the Britannia, is that right?
Yeah.
So knows it's very old. We get the flashback to 2017.
I remember that like it was yesterday.
2017.
Well,
or the 17th century.
Yeah, wasn't one of these the tuppenny that he found?
I don't know. They found a bunch of them, and Dave Blankenship was there. They were like, "Hey, you really are lucky."
They need to get Dave back out to the money pit to press the buttons when they start oscillating, so that they can make sure they're getting that gold stuff.
Yeah, it's crown time.
Just saying.
Yeah, it's go time.
Yeah. So this new coin find, though, Gary says will definitely predate the discovery of the money pit, so that's good. And Clotworthy says that this find might support a new theory presented to the Oak Island team. And we had a flashback.
Yes.
What was the flashback about?
To Wynn, who we've talked about. Scott Clark is discussing his theory about the 17th century English nobleman Sir William Phipps and how he conspired with Freemasons, Alan Bletcher, to hide a large amount of silver on Oak Island sometime after 1687. Oh,
please. That sounded like a really, we didn't talk about that much.
Yeah.
Just between you and me, but that sounds really cool. And
yeah, I love the map.
Yeah, and I liked his theory. So
yeah.
Please be right. That'd be super cool.
That would be.
All right. So Rick and Gary celebrate the find by giving a fist bump to each other. And Gary says, shake and bake.
All I could think of is shake and bake chicken. I haven't seen any of those advertisements since I was a wee one, but I was like, shake, shake, shake. And you're like shaking your chicken to cook, That's all.
I think it's more of a reference now to there's a movie called Talladega Nights with Will Ferrell, the guy you don't care for.
Well, apparently I like him in Zoolander.
You like him in Elf?
And in Elf. Whew! That was a new one that's
anyway,
quite funny.
He and the other, he's a car driver in it. Yeah, and they fist bump, they say shake and bake.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Pretty sure that's where I've seen it once, when it came out. So a long time
I do
ago.
not remember.
That movie came out 20 years ago. So
20 years ago?
Ish. Yeah, Talladega Nights. Ish.
I'm just feeling older and older by the minute.
Okay. So anyway, shake and bake. And Gary says that even though this is going in a bag first, it's going in his top pocket next. And so it's a top pocket find. He's ecstatic about it. And Rick says that the coin is a spectacular find due to its condition and where it was found.
I would agree, Rick. I mean, money should always go in the top pocket. I mean, I think that's kind of a given, even if it does go into a little baggie first. It just makes sense to me. Okay, so we have a war room where we talk about dating stuff from the swamp. And we have some time in the swamp. But I think we should just talk about their searching in the swamp.
Sure.
Next. Yeah?
Yeah, so Clotworthy started this by saying, this is one of the final searches at the swamp for this year.
One of? I thought this was wrapping it up.
He said it's one of. And still, that's a little sad. Because they've been finding, every time they go in there, they find something cool.
Well, yeah.
And some things are way cooler than they seem. Because, I don't think an ads is very cool, but they found an ads and it's oh, that's pretty cool.
clearly an ads is very cool because everything's ads cut wood now.
Yeah. All right. So this is Gary, Peter.
Okay, wait. I know it's not the same thing, but I used a planer for wood in my most recent construction project.
What's a planer? Is that the thing where
you like scrape it and to make the wood like smooth? Or
does it have a knob on one end?
Yeah. And you go.
I use those in shop class. I didn't know his name. It's been like 20 years. So
because none of the walls in this building are straight or anything, so I needed to make it flush.
You needed to shave off a little bit.
I had to shave it off. And as I was doing it, I was like, it's not an ads, but I feel like it is. So I was thinking about Oak Island as I was planing a board.
Ads you were?
Ads I was.
Yeah, Deidre is basically like rebuilding a building. That's why she's never available for anything anymore. They needed you.
I am 99% done.
Oh, so you're going to have more time.
Maybe. Yeah. Actually, that time will get put into other work that has to get done.
She's been super busy.
Okay.
All right.
Swamp.
Yeah, so we had Gary, Drayton. We had the Fernetti brothers.
We did.
David and Peter hanging out.
A dynamic duo there.
Billy was there.
Of course.
And Eagle Eye.
MJ.
Michael John in the house.
Yep.
All right, so Clotworthy recaps the wooden items found in the swamp this year. There's many. Gary begins metal detecting, and he's a little bit disappointed. He's like, there's no metal here. Wah, wah.
But he's got his dual optical scanners.
He does. So we were told that the water pumps have been turned off, and water is beginning to return to the swamp from the underground spring. And even though Gary can't find any metal, that doesn't mean nothing's found.
Nope.
Because we have
Michael John's there.
Eagle Eye's on the case.
Right.
And Michael John finds this exquisite piece of wood. David says it's like his Uncle Rick and Laird would say, it's all about context. What is the context of this piece of wood? Is it connected to something else they had found? Is it just random piece of wood that has nothing to do with anything? What is the context? Do you know?
I don't know because I'm not there.
Yeah, but they're gonna do some.
They're gonna get some context.
They're gonna do some dating on it and see if it lines up with anything else. Gary says that's a good way to think about it, and they find all of this wood. And could it be one-offs, or could they be finding more and more irregular pieces of wood that may have been manipulated by man? He's getting on board. He says. With that, there might be a swamp, or might be a ship in the swamp. Might be a swamp in the ship. No,
well, I mean, it might be.
But did you hear that he's getting on board?
Yeah, he didn't even mean it as a pun, and it worked out quite nicely.
It was perfect. Well done, Gary. Well done. All right, so that's kind of it until we go back to the.
Well, let's go back to the war room where they're talking about the particular piece of wood they found.
Carbon dating results with Rick, Marty.
No, it should always be carbon dating results with your host, Craig Tester. Because he's always the one to deliver.
90% of the time. A few others have been given by somebody else.
Okay, I don't believe those do
you remember?
Efficient.
Ian Spooner does it about 10% of the time.
And what he's doing is not like what Craig is doing. It is different.
Yeah, but Craig is the man when it comes to carbon dating.
Yes.
All right. So, yes, carbon dating time or carbon dating chat.
With Craig.
The
carbon dating hour with Craig Tester.
Yeah.
Welcome to your carbon dates here on the Curse of Oak Island.
Yeah. So, anyway, Craig is hosting, and his co-hosts are Rick, Marty, Alex, Billy, Scott, Jack, Steve, Doug, and Dan Hensky. And, they had the report for this piece of wood was expedited to get dating information from it. This possible piece of deck planking. Craig gives the date, and everyone's like, "Shut up! It can't be a real date."
Well, and before they even gave the date, Marty goes, "You guys are sure this was a worked piece of wood? Like you're sure?" Because he knows something's coming.
Yeah. So, what are the dates?
The dates Craig give are 224 to 376 AD. Old.
That's like,
whoa.
Oh my gosh, that's like almost like 1700 years ago. Like, that's a long time ago. And what is that wood doing in the swamp of Oak Island?
I don't know. You're gonna have to ask the wood.
Yeah, in my notes I wrote whoa. So Marty says, good eye, Billy, because I guess Billy's the one that found that piece.
Billy's pretty good at finding those pieces that like come up in his bucket or nearby, you know, when he's digging out there. Jack wants to know how this could be connected to the treasure.
Yeah, well, they say, I don't know, but the date is very weird.
I'd agree.
Yeah, and Clotworthy notes that the team has found artifacts from the 12th through 18th centuries. And this new date is the strangest thing found. It goes with the strangest thing found thus far, which was the ship's railing from last year.
Yeah.
That was 660 AD, but this is even older than that.
And Marty's head's about to explode.
Yeah. Like, Marty is that data guy. He, that's what he needed. And he always says, show me the data. Otherwise, I won't believe it.
Right.
But then he gets this new data and he still doesn't believe it.
And he's like, I can't believe it. But Craig's like, yeah, the data says 95.4% confirmed.
Yeah.
Say what?
It's insane. It's legit insane. All right. So there was a little side interview with Marty, and he says that one of the curses of Oak Island is that you can almost never rule anything out.
Yeah, I get it. Like, they want to put X's through stuff, and then they keep bringing new people in, right? Like the Portuguese, and now more dates. And Marty, he's like, oh my gosh, Craig, don't you dare ever bring another time period in here. We've got plenty. I know we want to put some X's through it, but
that gets a big LOL from the rest of the crew, though.
Right? I mean, that was pretty funny. Yeah. It's just like that Portuguese conversation.
Yeah. Well, Steve goes on to say, just because the date doesn't fit doesn't mean that they didn't use the wood at a later date. And he does give examples, or as an example, even though the ship's railing was 300 to 400 years old, older than that wood, they could be related to a ship just using different trees.
Yeah. I mean, just because it's that old doesn't necessarily mean it was cut once and then used right away. I mean, come on. I have, like, growing up, let's think about drying out firewood. We always had like years worth of firewood at my house that was cut and dried and just sat out there forever.
Did you cut it?
Oh gosh, I usually didn't cut the firewood.
Was
coming from you, I just built stuff. You just said I'm rebuilding a building. I'm a wuss.
I'd cut firewood. Sounds like fun.
You probably cut yourself.
Maybe. All right, Dan Henske, he has something to say. He says that the basic rule is to do some more analysis, wider range of investigation, and see if you can identify the type of wood, what continent perhaps came from, maybe a region, and this is just one step here.
Tries to bring everybody down
to
the facts of the matter.
That's what Henske would do.
Well, yeah, and that's what you would expect Dave Blankenship to do, because he'd be like, look at the facts, look at the data. And Henske, spent a lot of time with those guys. So he's like, guys, bring it on in.
Bring it on in. Yeah. All right. So Rick says that his thought would be to get a species ID on the wood. So good call, Henske. Clotworthy explains that because of the ongoing pandemic, resources are limited as to what they can get tested for carbon dating and things like species. They plan on getting that done with the University of Alaska.
Woo, woo, going to Alaska.
Yeah, going forward. So cool. Rick wants to know how it got to Oak Island if it's not native, and the test will help determine that. Craig says that if they knew it came from Europe or not, that would make a huge difference.
Absolutely.
Steve says that as long as they can test it, it's type of wood that lasts a long time, and that's a good step to take from there.
Agreed. Let's species test it.
Yep. And Marty ends it by saying that he doesn't need any more mysteries, and they'll assemble again when they have more data.
But when you have more data, you may not like the answer. Poor Marty. He's just trying to hang on to his toonie for luck.
Oh, yeah, girl.
I miss Aaron.
We all do. All right. So, speaking of girl, is that a segue?
That I guess
the main gal of Oak Island showed up. I guess
the main gal of Oak Island. My spirit
over the
animal.
seasons. Yeah, Deidre's
someone we were missing dearly last year.
Yeah,
her and her sidekick.
Yes, and she was almost named Deidre too.
I know.
I've heard that many times.
Yeah,
all right, because you're
how I do.
Yeah. So we are getting a big arrival from ROC crew.
ROC.
They are crossing
rotators, oscillators, caissons. Yeah. In case you're wondering.
Is that what that stands for?
Yeah, she told us that clearly.
No, she didn't.
Yes, she did in our interview.
You're making that up.
No.
I was there. Okay.
Yeah, but you have a horrible memory. Like the worst.
Okay. Anyway, they cross the causeway and people are starting to get excited. Scott tells Gary, Billy, Charles, Steve, Peter, and David, who are all assembled with him. I thought
there's literally just a line of them standing there waiting for her.
I thought they weren't supposed to assemble.
They weren't.
They got more data, says Marty.
Avengers assemble. Yeah. Apparently,
Fellowship
Vanessa
assemble.
is a reason to assemble. Fellowship assemble.
Yeah. Anywho, and so Scott tells them that this is a big day for the Money Pit.
Well,
Charles says it's exciting. These are the biggest cans they've ever put down. And Billy informs them about the arrival of Rick and Marty. So here come Rick and Marty.
Whoop, whoop.
Gary shouts out that they're ready to find some gold, and Marty likes his enthusiasm.
Where are we going to put it?
Yep. So they marvel at this new hammer grab that's sitting there next to him, and the thing is gigantic.
Huge.
Yeah. Like it's way bigger than before.
Like, wow.
They say it a couple times in the episode. It's 22.5 tons.
There's so much coming out in every scoop. This is going to be nuts. I can't wait.
It's going to be exciting. All right. So Gary says that they've got a really fantastic chance to find treasure this year, perhaps to hold a lot of things in their hand and not just the one thing that Rick's looking for.
Put a bunch of one things.
That would be pretty epic.
Mm-hmm.
Marty says that testing said that there's gold and silver down there. Statistically, they're going to have a good shot at finding something.
Yeah, especially considering they're putting a case on like right over like some of the highest.
Please.
Let's see some gold shiny things.
I wonder how deep they're going to go because I know they're really interested in that what is it, 70 to 100 and whatever foot.
Well, I want to know how deep. They have to at least go to however deep C1 is because in the bottom of it, that guy last year dropped the gold shiny thing.
Don't be mad at him.
No,
he was
but
trying his best.
I know, but they have to at least go down there so that they can hammer grab it on out.
Maybe.
No, definitely.
No, because they're not. Are they doing a big case on right over C1?
Well,
we don't know that.
No, but they're doing D1 and the caissons are 10 feet.
No, they're doing D2.
D2, and the caissons are 10 feet.
Like the Mighty Ducks, okay?
So I think we're going to be just fine. Thank you very much.
Yeah. All right. So Charles says that he knows it's there. You just got to find it, to Rick and Marty. And I'm thinking like, Charles, what do you know?
Well, we should have just listened to him before.
He literally says he knows it's there. He's like, tantalizing them.
He is tantalizing.
Mm-hmm.
Teasing? Tantalizing doesn't quite seem to work.
Okay, well, he's definitely teasing them, if nothing else. All right, so Rick says he doesn't know if all the answers will come up, but proof will come up.
Proof of something.
And that's all that matters to him. And it's a very simple goal. Find one piece of irrefutable evidence underground, deep underground.
And Marty's thinking, well, actually, the gold does matter. Like, this is an investment, big brother. He's like, I just want to find one thing. Nope.
Yeah, Gary says after all the testing we've done, this is the year. Marty says, let's go, and gives his big brother a big high five.
Big old high five.
Yep.
Because that's how they roll.
So the cans cometh.
Cometh. The caneth of rockets.
Makes me think of Gareth from
Gareth.
From Gallivant.
Oh man, Gallivant.
It looks just like Gary Drayton.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
The doppelganger. If you haven't seen Gallivant, go check it out. It's from ABC, the TV channel. It was like 3 or 4 or 5 years ago.
As opposed to the alphabet?
Yeah, sure, maybe. But it's really funny.
The alphabet brought to you by the letter of the day.
Okay. So the cans are approaching. Rick says that it's exciting to have caissons arrive, but it's always about the people too. So,
which means
it's great to have old friends back.
Yes.
So welcome, old friends back.
Vanessa is back, and of course she comes in, giving the fist bumps to everybody, hitting down her Avengers Assemble line.
Yeah, she's not just doing the fist bump though; she's exploding it.
Yeah, she's doing the exploding fist bump. Like, she is stoked. You kept her, they kept her away for too long. She just can't take it.
You don't do the exploding fist bump anymore, but I do. I know what's cool, okay? It's proof. Your spirit animal's doing the exploding fist bump. You should be going back to it, okay?
Yeah, and my
Just
spirit animal also has Danny the pirate with
Heck
her.
yeah.
I was so excited to see Danny.
Yeah.
Because anytime something cool comes up, he's like, ah!
Yeah, he's stoked. They also had another guy with them named Jared Busby. So, new character.
New character.
New character part of the ROC team.
Yep.
All right. So, also joining them is a crane operator, Michelle Ouellette, and Andrew Boleen from Irving Equipment Limited.
Yes.
Vanessa, she's there. She asks them what's coming in right now. And, she says, do you see what's coming in right now? And are you ready for this? And
Marty says he's ready.
Does he?
Mm-hmm. She says they're not small cans. And you see, like, when they pull back and these trucks coming in, like, there's only one can per truck. And they're just...
And that's in the stubby.
They're huge.
Yeah, but they're not even that, like, long.
But they are, but when they're that big, they look stubbier.
I think they were stubbier. I think they weren't as long as the last ones.
Sure.
Maybe. Yeah, so, Rick asked them, we're going to find it this year, right? And Michelle replied, this is the year. So everybody's down. Everybody's excited.
You notice Vanessa didn't give a treasure guarantee this year, though?
Maybe she should have.
She should.
No.
The odds are with her this year.
Yeah, but she's unlucky.
She's not unlucky. She doesn't want
Just kidding.
the arc to come up in pieces, and she feels better about it. These big caissons going down so we can get it whole.
Oh yeah. Oh yes. We'll get to that in just a moment. All right. So Marty says he's excited, and this will be a lot of work though. And Vanessa says they know this can't be done without disturbing the ground, but the grab operation is going to be less destructive. Marty replied, because you're going to be encapsulating this rather than breaking them, right? Vanessa tells him yes, and they're going to get 5 cubic yards with this hammer grab, each grab. So it's a lot bigger. And we get this awesome new little animation. You want to talk about it?
Okay, so we get the new animation where the new large cans go down, and they happen to just perfectly fit over the chapel vault.
Mm-hmm.
And then in comes the hammer grab, just like the claw, and grabs it whole and lifts it out.
Like it's some kind of arcade game or bowling alley game.
Yeah, it's all perfectly intact still. I would say this animation comes in second place to the one on Smith's Cove with the guy pushing giant loads of boxes of treasure off of a ship and like them falling. So maybe we should like screen record this one and the other one and like put them back to back or something.
Those are your favorites.
Those are definitely my favorites.
The clock.
Mm-hmm.
It moves. Yeah. So Clotworthy explained that this hammer grab will be able to grab 11,000 pounds of earth in each scoop. And
Jack's thinking, oh no.
Yeah. It's a lot of work, Jack. Yeah. So Marty says that it's time to change their focus from information hunt all over the island to digging up and beginning the treasure hunt, the actual treasure hunt up at the money pit. So
time.
That was like a little
They're
side
in the
interview.
green zone.
Rick, he asks Vanessa if she knows why they're so driven this year, and she says she has no clue. And Marty tells her that there's definitely, for sure, without a doubt, based on science,
Yeah,
like
right.
Both the brothers both say that based on science, with no possibility of error,
like they're really driving this home.
Gold down there. And she seems pretty stoked about that.
Yeah, she's like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And so they all laugh and they're all kind of giddy with each other because, hey, they're about to go dig up some gold.
I mean,
they know it.
We're halfway through, right? And so at this point, you know, they've been data. Now it's time, you know, it's boots on the ground time. It's wash table time.
It's time. You know, if they had a UFC announcer there, he'd be like, "It's time!" Right? That's what they do. Or let's get ready to rumble.
Yeah, that one. Let's do that one.
Okay. Yeah. Those guys are brothers, by the way.
Good to know.
Yeah. All right. So
so are Rick and Marty.
They are. So anyway, Rick says we really couldn't do without you, that's for sure. And so that makes her feel good. And they're all feeling good because they're about to dig up gold.
Because it's a feel-good moment.
Yeah. Vanessa replies that her team is here and they are ready. And Marty says that he thinks they've done enough talking. Now that need to get all this stuff unloaded.
And guys, that's gonna be heavy. So they're probably gonna need some heavy equipment to unload that.
Clotworthy ends the episode by saying that the months of waiting are over and the dig is about to begin.
Bum, bum, bum.
It's pretty exciting.
Yeah, I can't wait till next week.
Oh yeah? Why? What happens next week on The Curse of Oak Island?
I think we're gonna put some cans down. But speaking of the last that wraps up the episode.
Yes.
Right. And now we have our next week on The Curse of Oak Island. There's a war room meeting with Dr. Krista Brousseau. Woo, woo. She's analyzing the bag seal found. That was last year. Yeah. Last year on lot 32, and says it's from the Treasury of England, marked with a TE. It's a very early bag seal, and that wows Marty. And he says, "How about that?
How about that?"
So that's really interesting. I remember last year people were really digging into trying to figure out what the seal was from. Yeah. Rick
cool.
tells us that the new premier of Nova Scotia is coming for a visit to Oak Island. Hey, I mean, they wanted government assistance. I mean, you might as well just go straight for it, I guess, right?
Yeah. So, what is a premier? Is that like the governor?
I'm not sure what that equates to for us.
Yeah, his name's Tim Houston. He's only been the premier since August 31st, 2021. So he was brand new when they were filming this. Yeah, and I think he's like the governor. Basically,
would that be like equivalent wise to us U.S. folk?
Okay, the Premier of Nova Scotia is the first minister to the Lieutenant Governor of the Canadian province of Nova Scotia. So maybe he's like third in charge.
I mean, that's still kind of a big deal.
Yeah, it's government. He's
someone. Okay, thank you, Tom Burns. It chimed in the chat. Premier equals governor.
Thank you,
He
Tom.
is a Nova Scotian. Nova Scotian. Is that how? I always mess it up. I'm so sorry.
Tim is your dude, apparently. Tim Houston.
Not Horton.
Yeah. Anyway, so yes, we have a premiere.
Yes, we have a premiere.
We have somebody that like can make or break them. And he sounded excited about treasure.
Stoked.
Yeah, he did.
I know nothing about this guy except that he looked excited.
Yeah. He said, let's go find some treasure.
And they're like, all right, while you're here, can I get you to sign this and this and this?
Here, I have this stack of papers. You signing these will give Laird free reign.
Right? Laird and all of it. So all of a sudden you see like a convoy of archaeologists coming back across the
We don't want that.
Yeah, we do. Why not? If they can have free reign to do whatever they want while they're...
Well, but then they would have to stop if they found more First Nations stuff.
Not if he just signs off.
No, because the First Nations have to
that's
be part of that. So I'm over the archaeologists for a while. Sorry.
You're over them.
Sorry.
Anyways, said find treasure. Rick told him to get your shovels. I like that. So the oscillator arrives on Oak Island. Woohoo!
Big sucker.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it gotta be big enough to twist the
big old caissons.
Yeah. Vanessa says that they're finally going big when lifting it. Rick is wowed and says it looks like a battleship. I mean, you are literally battling the island at this point.
Yeah.
So yeah, and they finally begin digging at D2.
Woo woo
woo woo. Marty says it's exciting and probably the highest expectation he's ever had because the physical presence of gold.
Woo-wee. That's exciting.
It is.
They're gonna find some treasure.
Yeah.
They're not gonna find the one thing. They're gonna find the
thing.
No, the couple thousand things.
Oh, it's so exciting.
Yeah. So anyway, that's the end of the episode, and the next time on, and
all the things.
So,
jeez.
Man, we just want to say everybody, thanks for
showing up this evening.
Yeah, there's a couple dozen of you in the chat, and we did this without even announcing it. So thanks for being here. And
we will be here tomorrow evening for pregame. Yeah,
so pregame we're on Tuesdays, an hour before the Curse of Oak Island airs on the East Coast of the United States. So that would be 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. So join us, facebook.com/Oak Island Podcast.
Yep. We'll also be live on YouTube, which is at Oak Island Podcast. We won't be live on Instagram, but you can also find us there if you want at Oak Island Podcast.
And you can email us at oakislandpodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah, we're on the Twitter.
At Oak Island Pod.
Yeah, that's the only one that's
you can even give us a phone call if you wanted to. You could be cool like Marty Lagina. You know, the guy with the tuning necklace? He called us once.
He did.
360-836-4549. And you can also find us, if you want to support us, go to patreon.com/Oak Island Podcast.
Yep.
And you go to oakislandpodcast.com to find other information, including our online store.
Correctamundo.
And I think that's it.
That's it.
Do we have anything else?
Nope. So until next time.
Could it be?